Imagine a cruise where the real adventure isn't on deck, it's beneath the waves. 4 men sail across the Caribbean, each seeking something different, but the ocean has its own plans. Carried the scent of salt as the horizon quest, a grand cruise ship, glided toward the unknown. The ocean stretched endlessly beneath the rising sun, its turquoise surface shimmering like polished glass. A gentle breeze carried the scent of salt as the horizon quest, a grand cruise ship, glided toward the unknown. On the upper deck, Daniel leaned against the railing, watching the waves roll like liquid diamonds. He had taken this journey to escape routine, to rediscover a spark he felt had faded. Elias, a marine photographer with a calm presence, lifted his camera toward the horizon. His eyes were always searching for something extraordinary beneath the surface. Benjamin, a travel writer with restless energy, paced the deck with a notebook in hand. Every journey, he believed, carried a story waiting to unfold. Leo, the oldest among them, stood quietly by the glass balcony. A retired diver, he carried a lifetime of memories, some beautiful, some haunting. As the cruise pushed deeper into open waters, the onboard life began to bloom. Sunlight danced across the decks like golden confetti, and the passengers filled the ship with laughter and music. Daniel wandered through the poolside area, where shimmering reflections blurred the line between water and sky. The scene made him feel both grounded and liberated. Elias spent the morning adjusting his underwater housing, preparing for the dives he hoped to take. His excitement thrummed like electricity in the air. Benjamin stood at the buffet, observing passengers, writing small notes about personalities and moments that sparked his curiosity. Leo stayed near the bow, letting the rhythmic crash of waves calm his thoughts. Beneath the ship, life thrived in silent harmony. Coral gardens swayed with the currents, alive in shades of pink, blue, and emerald. Schools of fish shimmered like underwater stardust. The sea turtles drifted lazily, their movements slow, intentional, almost meditative. They embodied a peace the world above often forgot. Manta rays glided below like underwater wings, enormous yet graceful, cutting through beams of sunlight reaching down from the surface. A pod of dolphins raced alongside the ship, leaping and twisting in perfect synchronization, drawing cheers from the passengers gathered at the rail. The crew announced an optional deep-sea excursion, and all 4 men eagerly signed up. Their journey, they felt, was only just beginning. The small exploration vessel descended slowly into the ocean's blue heart, carrying the men with wide-eyed anticipation. The water shifted from bright sapphire to dark indigo as the vessel went deeper. The surface world disappeared like a forgotten dream. Strange glowing creatures appeared, like lanterns floating in the shadows. Their light painted the faces of the men with eerie beauty. Daniel pressed his hands to the glass, captivated by the bioluminescent trails dancing outside. Elias took rapid photos, each click capturing a moment most people never witnessed. Benjamin held his breath in awe as a giant shadow moved past, silent, powerful, a whale drifting through the depths like a living mountain. Leo felt a familiar ache in his heart, remembering dives from his youth when the ocean had felt like a second home. The vessel came upon a coral forest glowing like a submerged city. Colors shimmered with life, brighter than the wildest imagination. A school of silver fish swirled in spiraling patterns, creating a living vortex of motion and sparkle. The pilot guided them toward an ancient shipwreck resting peacefully on the seafloor, its silhouette dark and mysterious. Elias pressed his lens to the window, capturing the haunting beauty of the decaying wood and coral-covered hull. Daniel wondered about the men who once sailed that forgotten ship, imagining their dreams sinking slowly into the sand. Leo whispered that the ocean remembers everything, even when the world above forgets. As they explored deeper, something unexpected happened. A sudden tremor shook the vessel. A storm had formed above, its pressure pushing waves downward with violent force. The pilot steadied the controls, urging calm, but tension grew thick inside the small craft. The lights flickered as the vessel drifted toward a cavern hidden behind a curtain of seaweed. The pilot maneuvered away, but the waves outside surged in unpredictable currents, pulling them closer. Daniel's heartbeat quickened. The cavern swallowed light like a mouth waiting to devour. Before they could escape, a current swept them inside. Darkness enveloped the vessel. Elias turned on the auxiliary beams, revealing enormous pillars of stone rising from the ocean floor like ancient guardians. Benjamin scribbled trembling notes, knowing this moment would shape his writing forever. Leo closed his eyes, breathing deeply, trusting the ocean as he always had. Inside the cavern, the water suddenly stilled. A glowing blue mist pulsed through the chamber like a heartbeat. Strange markings appeared on the rock's symbols, unlike anything they had seen before. A massive shadow appeared beyond the cavern entrance, a creature ancient, slow-moving, and majestic. Its shape remained partly hidden, but its presence radiated wisdom and power older than human memory. The men stared, breathless, as the creature drifted past without causing harm. Leo whispered that they had encountered a legend, something spoken of only in diverse tales. As the creature disappeared into the darkness, the currents shifted, pushing the vessel gently back toward the exit. The pilot regained control and guided them safely out into open water. When they surfaced, the storm had already begun to fade, leaving behind a pink and gold sunset. Daniel exhaled deeply, feeling a new sense of purpose rising in his chest. Elias looked at the stunning horizon and realized he had captured the most important images of his life. Benjamin wiped tears from his eyes, overwhelmed by emotion he couldn't quite name. Leo smiled softly, grateful that the ocean had shared one final mystery with him. Back on the cruise ship, the men gathered on the quiet evening deck. The waves sparkled as though the ocean itself was reflecting on their journey. Daniel spoke about the fear he had faced, and how it made him feel more alive than ever. Elias shared the beauty he had captured and the responsibility that came with showing people the unseen world. Benjamin read a few lines from his notebook, each word heavy with meaning. Leo told the others that the ocean always reveals itself to those who listen, not those who rush. The ship sailed onward beneath a sky overflowing with stars. The men stayed awake, each lost in thought. Far below, the coral forests glowed softly, breathing life into the deep. Whales sang ancient melodies that traveled through miles of water. The shipwreck rested quietly, its secrets safe for another century. The mysterious cavern pulsed with quiet light, undisturbed and eternal. And the ancient creature drifted through the shadows, watching the world above with timeless eyes. On board the Horizon Quest, the four men felt changed, connected, awakened, humbled. The ocean had shown them its wonders, its power, its silence, its soul. They realized that life above and life below were part of the same story, bound by currents seen and unseen. As the cruise continued, the men promised themselves they would carry this experience forever. The ocean had spoken in its own language, a language of beauty, danger, mystery, and peace. The men knew they had been part of something rare, something sacred. And as the first light of dawn touched the waves, the Horizon Quest sailed into another day, guided by winds, dreams, and the vast, vibrant life beneath the ocean's surface. Each man watched the sunrise, knowing the world had not changed, but they had. The sea stretched out before them, endless and alive, waiting for the next story to unfold.